Edge.
Mikey and Emma's Everyday People. It's a brand new segment. So they're everyday people, but they're doing extraordinary things, different things that you and I aren't doing. And you might remember on air the other day, we had a guy who couldn't go to a Bucks party because an escort was going to be there. We've decided to track down a real-life escort. Now, we'll call her Mandy. It's not her real name, but Mandy is what we're going to refer to her as. So, Mandy, you're a real-life escort. How did you get into it?
Sure. So I've always been a dancer, and I've danced as a kid. And when I was studying at uni, I just wanted some extra cash. And a friend of mine said that she had just started sort of at an adult entertainment centre, and she was asked if I was interested. So I said I'd give it a go. And then I danced for about 2 years before the manager actually asked if I was interested in some escorting business, and I wasn't too sure about it, but the manager sort of said it's mainly about sort of talking to people and getting to know them and just spending some time with people who are a bit more lonely. So I thought that was, a fair enough call. So I gave it a go, and I kind of fell into it that way. And it wasn't something that I was ever pressured into. I never felt like I was forced to do it. That's pretty much how I got into it, and that's, sort of how I like to explain my industry.
You must get some pretty random creepy guys every now and then. Is it actually safe?
So my particular agency that I work with, they are very into safety for not myself, but also the clients. We do ask for all clients to use protection, and if that's not something that they're willing to comply with, then our agency chooses to not work with these people. For myself and for the other girls that I work with, we're checked up every month, and it's actually something that our agency pays for because they want to make sure that we're safe and also that the clients that we're dealing with have that security, knowing that they won't be catching any diseases or they won't be at risk of anything. The other thing is sometimes it doesn't always go to plan, and there are instances where people do get violent, but that's something that everyone has, everyone needs to deal with it. And me personally, I choose to say no, and it is our right as an escort to actually leave the premises. It's not, people think that if we get paid for it, then we can do it. We don't have to. We don't have to agree to that. We have a right for everything that, that we do. Everyone else has a right to do everything in their job. And if we don't feel safe and we're not comfortable, we can say no and we will walk out.
Right. But have you ever felt like in danger or like unsafe when you're doing it?
So there's been an instance where I was actually in a really awkward position because a client of mine didn't get violent, but he was really pushy into what he wanted, and he was demanding things that I actually was really not comfortable in doing. And lucky for me, I have the ability to walk out whenever I want to, and I did have to walk out, and he wasn't impressed with it. But that's something that it's my integrity, and it's something that I need to that I want to work with, and I don't want to be in a area, or I don't want to be around people that don't respect me as a worker, because it's a job and it's something that I really do feel quite comfortable with, and it's a profession that I feel like I should be respected with. I almost feel like people look down on this job because, I get paid to do certain things, but the way I see it, everyone gets paid to do what they do in their job. It's a choice. I choose this job, and it's not as bad or it's not as dirty or unsafe as people think. And it's almost like, I feel so safe, and it's probably more dangerous working at a convenience store or at a bottle-o late at night.
You're going to have had a lot of people that have judged you in this particular profession. How do you deal with that?
So I know, there are people out there who will never be convinced that my job is an actual job and it's worth calling a job, but I really enjoy it, and I know a lot of people are grateful for what I do. I know I'm making a difference in someone's life. Maybe it's not the way that you might think, but it is still making a difference, and I don't think I should be judged for that. I choose this job like everyone else chooses their job. Not everyone who works in this industry is, a drugger or is a really cheap person. It's something that we choose to do, and we actually work really hard to do our job. Sometimes it's not comfortable, sometimes it's not all that flash, but it is a job, and I don't want people out there thinking that we're all a bunch of dirty people, because we're really not. If you actually get to know me and sit down and talk to me, I'm really passionate about this industry, and I'm passionate about everything else that I do. I'm passionate about my day job, and I'm just a regular person. You probably wouldn't even realize I was an escort if I haven't mentioned it. So I just really would like people to understand that we are human beings and we are doing this job because we choose to do this job.
How does it affect your relationships, like your relationship with your boyfriend, your relationship with your mum and dad, your friends?
Okay, so my parents do know I work in the adult industry. They don't know exactly what I do because I think, they probably find it easier just to know that I'm in the adult, and I don't think they would like details. My parents are actually really supportive. At first they were really shocked about it, but they know as long as I'm safe and as long as I'm happy, that's all they care about. My boyfriend, I met him outside of this industry. I choose not to meet or date my clients. I don't know, personally I find that a little awkward. When I did tell him, he was really shocked as well because, like I mentioned, I don't look like a stripper, I don't look like an escort, so you really wouldn't be able to tell. And it's something that he had to deal with, but I find I was just really open about it, and I told him it's not about a relational thing. It's not about a physical want. It's not about what my needs are. It's genuinely another job that I was having, and it was just to help people because a lot of my clients don't necessarily want a lot of sex. It's got nothing to do with the sex. A lot of it I find is to do with company, and they are lonely people. I know a few girls who don't tell their family, their partners, anything, and I don't know how that works out for them, but I know the biggest worry they have is they don't want to lose their close ones. They don't want to lose their family. They don't want to lose their partners, or they don't want to lose their friends over this job. And I guess a lot of the girls who don't tell their families and friends, it comes down to they don't want to be in this industry for a very long time. And it's just something that they're passing through. It's just like a part-time job you have, and they will one day do something else. And I guess that's why they keep it hidden. And for me, I find that it's okay to keep it hidden as long as they're comfortable with that. But for me, it's something that I wanted to get off my chest, and I wanted to be honest with my family and friends.
Mandy, how do you deal with the stigma of being a sex worker, and the other girls that are on the books at your agency, how did they deal with it?
So I don't think it's necessarily about, me feeling bad about myself, but I just find that a lot of the girls don't like talking about it because they feel like they're going to be judged. And if there wasn't such a huge stigma about it, I think they'd be much more comfortable. And if people were a bit more accepting, or at least understanding, and not jump to conclusions before talking to them, I think it'd be so much easier for people to come home and debrief about how crappy their day was, because I know this job can get hard, this job can get really shitty, but if people just were a bit more accepting and were able to just sit down and listen to it without judging you or jump to conclusions, it'd be so much better.
All right, look, when you go there, when you actually go to do what you do with a client, talk us through what do you actually do when you're visiting a client who's paying you to have it off with you?
Yeah, so not all of my clients are all based on sex. I have a client of mine who actually just enjoys spending time with me. So we do things like regular people. So we go to the movies, we have dinner, we just hang at home sometimes. And a lot of the times when we're home, we just chuck on a DVD and we sit there and make popcorn. We cook dinner, we go and shower, and then we go brush our teeth. And we just hang like normal people. And I think that's the big misconception about escorts and what we do. People think that people assume that we have sex straight away, but we don't. We actually, some of our clients really enjoy just spending quality time and having a conversation about their work, or they just want to be heard. That's what I feel. I feel like a lot of our clients just want to be heard and just want to hang out and chill with people.
Okay, so you do those things, but you've got a boyfriend and obviously you enjoy sex with him, but do you actually enjoy the sex with your clients? Do you enjoy it more or less?
I always say it's my job to make them feel comfortable. So when I'm comfortable with them and they feel more comfortable with me, and then we just end up having fun, and everyone loves sex. Everyone likes having sex. And for me, as long as I make them feel good and make them feel happy, that's my job done, and I feel happy, and it's not awkward, and it's quite good because some of these guys are attractive too. So it's an all-rounded win.
You said earlier on that you've got a normal 9-to-5 job. Are you afraid of people finding out that you're actually an escort as well?
I mean, yeah, sometimes I am afraid of my work colleagues finding out because I do have a normal 9-to-5 job Monday to Friday, and I don't know how I don't know how they would respond to if I had said, on the weekend I just hung out with a guy and sometimes we have sex, or sometimes we just watch movies, or sometimes we just, go to a hotel and do nothing. And I am afraid of what they'll say because, like I mentioned before, because of the misconceptions and because I will be judged. But I hope what I'm saying will hopefully clarify a lot of your questions, and hopefully the next time you meet an escort or you find out about an escort, you won't have such a negative image of them.
Mandy, thanks a lot. I mean, it's been eye-opening and we can't judge.
Yeah.
This has been going on for a long time.
It's still interesting. Like, doesn't even
Yeah.
matter if you judge escorts or not. It's still interesting. People still want to know what goes on behind the scenes.
The Edge.